Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Sam, or Chaotic, and welcome back to another GTA 5 video here on my channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing the all-new CHEVAL Taipan, which was released today in GTA Online in the surprise update, which has been named the Southern San Andreas Super Sports Series Updates. So in this update that Rockstar released today, they've released 5 new vehicles, and this is one of 2 new supercars. I believe this car is heavily based upon the Hennessy Venom F5, but if I'm wrong, of course, please correct me by leaving a comment on this video. And in fairness, the car itself is pretty good looking, but I do feel like this car will be one of those ones which some players will love, whereas other players will hate. Now you can of course purchase this right now in GTA Online across all platforms from the Legendary Motorsports website for a price of $1,980,000, so the best part of $2 million. Again, making this one of the more expensive supercars that we have in GTA Online. But it's the cheaper supercar out of the 2 released in this update, with the new Entity XXR, which I've already made a video on, being slightly more expensive at a price of $2.3 million. But just because the Entity XXR is more expensive, it doesn't necessarily mean that vehicle is better or faster than the new CHEVAL Taipan. As I'm making this video, I haven't quite gotten around to doing a comparison between these 2 vehicles yet, but just driving around and testing it out in free roam, the CHEVAL Taipan feels a little better. I think it's a little faster, and overall its performance is maybe slightly better than the Entity XXR, but that's only a guess just based upon me driving around in free roam for a few minutes. Comparing the Taipan though to some of the other supercars in the category, again what you'll probably notice in this gameplay is that it doesn't seem that quick, and from what I've seen from the community, the overall consensus is that most cars from this update aren't that fast, and in terms of value for money, what you have to pay for these vehicles, they certainly don't compare or live up to any of the other supercars in the category. Again, I haven't done any comparisons just yet between these vehicles and any of the existing ones in GTA Online, but certainly driving around you do notice they don't seem quite as good or as quick as some of the other cars that we have in GTA Online. We'll move on though to the customization though next. Let's take a look at some of the options available for this vehicle if you want to modify it. And again, comparing the Taipan and its customizations to the Entity XXR, which I've already customized, there are more customization options available for the Taipan than the Entity XXR. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of them after upgrading the armor and the brakes. The first option for this vehicle is front bumper. There are 5 options in this category, with my favorite being the carbon extended diffuser, so I went ahead and selected that one. Then the next option is rear bumper, which basically only allows you to change the color of the fins or that rear diffuser. And at first I was going to leave it stock. I thought the carbon look was quite nice on this car, until I saw the option named It's Lit, which is a meme in itself, so I went ahead and selected that option. Then as for chassis, you can change the side vent color from the stock color or your primary color to carbon if you wanted to. I thought that was quite nice as well, and of course match some of the other carbon panels on the vehicle, so I went ahead and selected that. Then in exhausts, again, quite a few options in this category, and some pretty nice ones, if I may say so myself. I was stuck between 1 or 2 while selecting the exhausts. I thought the Quad GT exhaust option was quite nice, as well as the twin carbon mid exhaust, which I did end up selecting, but like I said, some pretty nice looking options in that category. Moving on then to the next customization option, this being hoods, and again in here, a few different options, some pretty nice ones, like the Arrowhead hood, but in the end I just left it on stock. I thought the stock hood was quite nice anyway, so I didn't change that. Then of course in lights, I went ahead and upgraded the headlights from stock to xenon. Then you've got the option to change out the color of the wing mirrors if you want to, with the options being either primary, secondary, or carbon. I went ahead and selected the carbon option because, like I said, I've already got a range of different carbon panels on the vehicle, and that went pretty well with that as well. Then as for respraying this car, now when I purchased this, I ordered it in red, and I thought red on this vehicle was quite nice anyway, so I didn't end up changing that. But again, this car looks great in a range of different colors, and if you guys have any recommendations or suggestions, go ahead and leave a comment right now. Moving on though to the next customization option, this being roofs, and again, a nice range of different options in this category, with the option to change out the color from stock to carbon or your primary or secondary color. You can also add scoops, vents, or the vortex generators. I ended up going for the intake scoop, which I thought was quite nice, and of course leaving the stock color. Then in skirts, if you guys want to, you can fit one of these as well. You've got the primary extender, the secondary version of that. You've also got the street skirts, or finally the It's Lit option, which obviously I selected and went with the rear diffuser, which I selected earlier on. The next customization option after that is spoiler, and although the stock spoiler on this vehicle isn't too bad looking, it's worth bearing in mind if you don't upgrade the spoiler, you won't get that small traction boost by fitting a spoiler to the car. Even though it's already got one, the game doesn't recognize it, so I would definitely recommend upgrading the spoiler on this vehicle for that small traction boost. But after applying that, all the other customization options are pretty standard upgrades. Things such as lowering the suspension, upgrading the transmission and the turbo. Although the wheels on this car are quite nice, I did go ahead and change that out for a set of cheetah wheels. I thought those were quite nice and a little better than the stock wheels. I selected a set of carbon wheels, so I didn't change out the colour of those, but did make sure the tyres were bulletproof, which of course is essential on all cars in GTA Online. And then finally, as for the window tints, I went ahead and upgraded that to the limo tint. But there we go, that's it then for the customization of the Taipan. My overall thoughts on the customization is maybe a little disappointing, although yes, there are more customization options available for the Taipan over the Entity XXR. Like I said in my review of that vehicle, there aren't really that many customization options. They're very limited and very minor changes, which don't really improve the look all that much. Sure, there are one or two things like the exhaust options, which are pretty nice, but most of the changes are very small and insignificant. So personally, I wouldn't consider the level of customization available for this car all that great. And like I said before, the performance, although maybe it's slightly better, although I haven't compared it just yet to the Entity XXR, it still feels a little disappointing to some of the other supercars in the category. So the question being, is this car worth buying for the best part of $2 million plus the customization options? Personally, I'm not so sure. Straight away, it doesn't really feel or seem like the best value for money, and like I said, it definitely isn't up there in the terms of the performance at the top of the supercar category. So realistically, unless you guys like the appearance of this vehicle, which like I said, some players will most likely love, whereas other players won't like, then this car doesn't really seem like it's worth buying. But I of course want to get your thoughts and feelings on this vehicle. What do you guys think about the new CHEVAL Taipan? So go ahead and leave a comment right now. If you guys could also drop a like as well on this video, it would of course be greatly appreciated and it helps me out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do, because I upload all the latest and the greatest Grand Theft Auto 5 content. So as always guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.